Hello, my fellow Kenyans. I'm Gakonga, your coach and the pioneer of Vision Total Football Kenya. Wakenya wenzangu, my fellow Kenyans. I want us, all of us Kenyans, to ask ourselves some questions. What will it take for us Kenyans to say we have had enough in matters Kenyan football and we want change? What will it take for us to say that we want football that can employ our youths? What will it take for us to say that we have been led to the wrong direction in matters Kenyan football? It cannot be football presidents. We have had enough presidents elected. It cannot be about our national team coaches. We have had 30 coaches and yet we don't see good success in our national team, Harambee Stars. It cannot be about football corruption because we have seen enough football corruptions and yet we have said nothing. So what will it take for us to say we have had enough? My fellow Kenyans, we need to ask ourselves these questions and we need to come up with answers. My fellow Kenyans, we have 4 topics to discuss and I want us to start with topic number 1, the World Cup. Kenya as a country, or we, as me and you, my fellow Kenyans, we have been trying to qualify for the World Cup since 1974. That is 46 years of qualifying and we have never qualified. So there is no reason why we should think that we have a chance to qualify for the World Cup 2022. My fellow Kenyans, spare your thought and think about something else that can help you in your life. Thinking about qualifying for the World Cup 2022, the chance is so slim, it's like the chance of finding a snowball in hell. My fellow Kenyans, topic number 2, I want us to talk about Africa Cup of Nations. We have been trying to qualify for Africa Cup of Nations since 1971. That is 49 years of trying. We have qualified only 5 times since 1971. That means that we qualify only once on average every 10 years. So now, even though the teams has been increased and we qualified last year, we want to question ourselves. Did we qualify because our team is getting better? Did we qualify because our national team, Harambee Stars, is good? My fellow Kenyans, it is important that we also take time and focus on small things. Let me tell you. Last year, 2019, we qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. And there we qualified as possession number 17 because every time when there's a cup like Africa Cup of Nations, yes, teams qualify, but we need to ask ourselves, we qualified as possession what? Statistic says that we qualified as possession number 17. You can go to Google and search. It will tell you Kenya qualified as possession number 17 out of 24. What does this tell us? It tells us that if only 16 teams were to qualify, Kenya would have been outside the qualification cut point. We would have been number 17 and only 16 teams would have gone to the Africa Cup of Nations. And this is even without putting into consideration that Sierra Leone was banned. So our chance for qualifying for the Africa Cup of Nations that last year was very slim, and circumstances led us to qualifying. I will continue saying this. Our qualification for the Africa Cup of Nations last year was a circumstantial qualification. But I don't want us to dwell on this topic of AFCON because I have already addressed enough issues on this topic. Let us go. So before we finish, let me tell you this. This means that we have missed qualification in Africa Cup of Nations 28 times since 1971, and we have qualified 5 times only. That is the point. Now, I want us to discuss point number 3. Point number 3 is about the Shield Cup that we have in Kenya. We know it used to be called Golden Cup, Moi Golden Cup at one point. We know it has also been called President's Cup. And we know now it is called Betway Cup, Betway Shield Cup. But in 2018, it was called the SportPesa Shield Cup. I want us to focus on the money side. the economic side of the Shield Cup. We know very well that in 2018, SportPesa sponsored the Shield Cup, and the deal was for 23 million Kenya shilling. So the cup was called SportPesa Shield Cup, and the deal was 23 million Kenya shilling, yeah, per year. Now, when the new deal came in, yeah, the new sponsor right now is Betway, and we know very well the deal is for 15 million Kenya shilling. That means from 2018 to now 2020, the Shield Cup, yeah, has lost value of 7 million Kenya shilling, because it was 23 million in 2018. Now, in this year, 2020, the deal or the value of the deal is 15 million Kenya shilling. Why have we lost 7 million Kenya shilling in just 1 year gap? These are things that we need to question ourselves. This is how economists look deals, and this is how we know very well that our football economy is very bad. The value of our Kenyan football is very bad, and it is diminishing at a very serious rate. My fellow Kenyans, think about that, reflect, and say what you want to say. What I know is that the economy of our football is dead. My fellow Kenyans, I want us to discuss point number 4. It is about Harambee Stars. And again, I want us to focus on the economy side of Harambee Stars. About the results and all of that, I've said enough. I want now to focus on the economic side. Now, Harambee Stars, currently, it has no kit sponsor. You know that Kenyans, we had to pay for the kit during AFCON last year, and the kit costed the country 8 million Kenya shilling. But before we go there, that's not where I want to go. I want to say this. In 2014 to 2016, Harambee Stars kit was sponsored by Joma. Yeah? And the deal was for 50 million Kenya shilling per year. 2014 to 2016. That was the deal. 50 million Kenya shilling per year. Now, when Joma left the country, now we are into 2017. And the current regime of Nick Mwendwa came in February 2016. So, in 2017, another company came in called Mafro. Mafro is a company that I've never heard of, and I don't know how many Kenyans have heard of Mafro before 2017. The deal that they offered Harambee Stars kit sponsorship was for 25 million Kenya shilling. FKF accepted that deal, and we know very well FKF President Nick Mwendwa paraded paraded Mafro on Kenyan TVs, telling Kenyans we now have a sponsor who will sponsor all our national teams. And this sponsor is called Mafro. But the deal is what I want you to focus on. The deal was for 25 million Kenya shilling. So from 2016 to 2017, the value of our national team sponsorship kit deal had fallen from 50 million Kenya shilling to 25 million Kenya shilling. That is 50% loss on the deal. And that tells you that the value of our national team fell from 2016 to 2017, fell by half, from 50 million sponsorship kit deal to 25 million sponsorship deal. The deal never went through. I don't know what happened to Mafro. I don't know anything about that. But my point here is that, have you seen how the value of our Kenyan football is going downhill? Seriously, from 1 year to another, from 2016 to 2017, we lost 25 million Kenya shilling in terms of the value of our Harambee Stars. Today, Harambee Stars, our national team, is valueless. That is why no sponsor wants to get near Harambee Stars. And you know, we are paying everything for our team, Harambee Stars. There is no value, not just for Harambee Stars, but for our Kenyan football. Now, Kenya Premier League, again, it has no sponsor since 2017. And let us not talk about betting companies. Sponsors don't always have to be betting companies. We have many sponsors who can come and sponsor Harambee Stars and Kenyan Premier League. But the point is that, what is the return on investment when they sponsor these two entities? There is no value in our Kenyan football. My fellow Kenyans, we need to say we've had enough, and we need to bring a football evolution faster so that we can restructure and streamline our football, so that we can bring confidence enough confidence into our Kenyan football. We want investors to come in. But as it is now, I'm sorry, my fellow Kenyans, no investor will get involved in our Kenyan football. So, in conclusion, what is the way forward? The way forward is a total football evolution that will come through Vision Total Football Kenya. It is a peaceful football evolution, and Vision Total Football Kenya, it is the vision that we have for our country's football, and it is going to be implemented in Kenya. It is going to streamline Kenyan football, and it is going to restructure Kenyan football. That is what we call the third way solution. That means we do not need a football president election. What Kenya need is not football presidents or a football president election. What Kenya need is a vision for our country's football. The vision is ready. The vision is on the table in the name of Vision Total Football Kenya that has taken us 7 years to develop it. There is nothing that Kenyan football need that is not part of Vision Total Football Kenya. My fellow Kenyans, I want to leave you in peace. I'm gone.